this morning. No, I do know why I'm having so many issues this morning, because I am me and you are you.
Holiday season.
All right, what's happening here?
It's gonna be emotional,
All right,
but
guys,
it's gonna be worth it.
give me 1 second here.
It's gonna be great.
And I'm hearing a recording of something. You are
This
you.
holiday season.
All right, what's happening here?
It's gonna be emotional.
I hope everybody's doing well this morning. Everybody meaning me. I think I'm the only one here. Maybe there's one other person here. I don't know. Either way, how are you? How are you, everybody? This is Stacey Michelle, and I am doing live streaming this morning on ADHD is the New Black. Everybody meaning me. I think I'm the only one here. Maybe there's one other person here. So, I wanted to take the opportunity to go live this morning and just connect with everybody who's out here. Give me 1 second, everyone. I am trying to figure this out. Oh, you like my artistic pen holder there? Who's on the line with me? Hi, Sarita. Good morning. Good morning. Yes, it's a morning so far. Give me 1 second to figure this out. Let's see. My orientation is locked. Rotate devotion. Okay, let me try it this way. Hi. Okay, now, yeah. Give me a second, guys. Let's see. Go over here. Rotation lock is on. Now I just turned it on. I want it off. Anyway, I hope everybody out there is doing great on Sunday morning. I don't know where you all are streaming in from, but I did want to say that this morning is intended to be a lot. Okay, what the heck? I guess I'll just set it up this way. There we go. It's a good thing I have a good sense of humor. Don't look at my dirty room. Okay. I intended this morning to be a sort of a live coaching event, and it is. So I just wanted to say that if you all have any questions about your particular brand of ADHD, the things you struggle with, please feel free to type those in the comments, and I will do my very best to address them. I think I'll stream as long as this is going well. You can see I'm off to a great start. Look at my background. This is not my room. I intentionally made a very messy background. So if any of you have a messy room, you don't feel bad about yourselves. I'm so lying. This is my room behind me, okay? This is my room. I'm sure I am being the best role model possible. You guys are like, guess I won't be asking her a coaching question about keeping your room clean. Oh, I can coach you on that. But do I do it myself? Depends on how I'm feeling. Give me 1 second, guys. I gotta get some sunlight blocked out of this window here. I'm on the West Coast. I'm in Los Angeles. And I still can't figure out what is up with the orientation here. I know I can fix this. I know that this is a solvable problem, because there's no way I'm going to be able to see your comments if I can't even get the orientation right. Maybe I'll just go to the phone over here. Let me see. So just type in how you're doing. Guys, let me know how you're doing in the comments there. And introduce yourselves and where you're coming from. Maybe I'll just have to do it this way. The only problem is doing it this way, I can't see your comments. Or can I? No, I can't. Oh, wait. Can I? Nope. Can't see those. Wait, yes, can I? Nope, that was a tag of products button there. I'll figure it out. We'll figure this out together. I see I have 4 people in there, in the room. And I appreciate you 4 people watching the Stacey show this morning. Stacey trying to figure out live streaming. This is crazy. I'm so sorry, guys. I apologize. This is how it goes sometimes when it's just you trying to figure things out on the fly. And there's nothing wrong with that. So at the very least, you'll be entertained. And at the very most, guess what? When I get this together, hopefully we can all learn something together. So I'm going to see if I can switch this over to the phone that I actually know how to use. Let's see.
1 scoop of AG1 replaces multiple supplements.
And yeah, there we are. So, all right. I can see the comments now from my phone. Hi, guys. Thank you for being patient with me. Thank you for being patient. I think I'm going to have to keep the iPad in vertical. Thank you. Thank you, love. I appreciate it. Oh, you guys are so wonderful and patient with me. I really do appreciate it. You guys have no idea. Just dropped my whole little thing of ink pens there. Whatever. Anyway, let me raise my chair up. All right. I run my coaching business much better than I run these live streams, I promise. Anyway, hi, good morning, everybody. This is ADHD is the New Black, the live stream event where I'm taking your questions, your coaching questions, and I'll address them the best way I can. Just want to warn you, though, I do have a small dog back here named Larry, who may or may not get a little rambunctious because he hasn't eaten yet. I haven't eaten. We're fasting this morning, he and I. And the only reason we're fasting is because I didn't have a chance to eat before we started this live stream. So we're going to get this together and get this started here. So let me take a look at the comments going on so far. You guys are amazing, by the way. So everybody can hear me okay? Somebody give me a thumbs up if you can hear me, please. Give me a thumbs up if you can hear me. I see there's still only 4 people. Someone please give me a thumbs up if everything sounds good and looks good. Does everything sound good and look good? Somebody give me a thumbs up, please. Thumbs up, thumbs up. Someone give me a thumbs up if everything looks okay and sounds okay. Yes, no, please. Somebody, sounds okay? Looks okay? Can you guys hear me okay? Yes, no, please. Somebody, sounds okay? Looks okay? Okay, 2 thumbs up. Thank you, Loki, and thank you, love. I appreciate that. All right. So, this morning, everybody, let me get down to it. All right, you know what? I think the best thing I can do is to maybe share with you what I'm going through right now that might help you. Why am I so disorganized this morning? Well, my first answer obviously is I have ADHD, but this is what I hate. I hate for myself to always use ADHD as an excuse for things that I could have planned ahead a little bit better for. And that's one of the first coaching things that I do want to talk about here is that we have control, for the most part, over the outcome of things that we plan ahead for. Obviously, there are some things that we cannot control. Like I cannot control whether or not a hurricane suddenly pops up here in Southern California and blows the windows out and interrupts my live feed. I can't control that. I can't control if my dog actually starts, photo bombing this live shot. I kind of hope he does because he's really cute and you guys might actually find him more entertaining than me. But there are things that we can control with just a little bit of intentionality. And I recognize that those words make it sound simple. Excuse me while I'm trying to close the blinds here, get the sunlight out of my face. But it's not that simple. I get it, and I want to talk about that. Okay, just trying to get the sun out of my face here. There we go. Oh, look what we got, guys. Woohoo! We have even lighting in the room almost. Hold on. One little sliver here. One little sliver. All right. I wish this was like I could push a button and send you guys brunch or something for being here. Okay, so this wasn't the first topic I was going to talk about, but I feel like if I am going to have this channel, have this presence, this platform, and I'm coaching, a coach's number one obligation is to model to their clients. And for me to start this live stream, and I'm a hot mess. I am a bit of a hot mess right now, but that's only because I hate technical issues. And technical issues give me a lot of anxiety because it's an area that I feel very insecure in. But hey, here we are. But what could I have done to plan ahead for this? I could have actually have gotten up when my alarm went off. I didn't do that. I could have made sure I was well fed and the dog had, was well fed. Oh, here he is. Here's Larry. Come here, Larry. Guys, this is Larry. There we go. Say hi to everybody, Larry. By the way, Larry watches a lot of TV. He loves watching dogs on TV, so if he recognizes himself, he might start barking at himself. Just want to put that out there. Hi, Larry. Good morning. Good morning, baby. Okay, so, dropped my phone. So what else could I have done to plan better for this? I could have gotten up when my alarm went off, but I didn't because I felt like I deserved to sleep a little longer. And I, told myself the same story I always tell myself. Oh, I'll get up in 5 minutes. 5 minutes turned into 20, 20 turned into 30. What else could I have done? Actually, I did notice that my attempts to charge my devices was a failure because although I did plug in the devices, didn't notice last night that the chargers weren't actually plugged into the wall. I could have taken that extra step. I was not expecting that because I never actually unplugged my chargers and my devices from the wall. So there we go. I'm not sure what happened there. Could have just been the cat stepped on the things and pulled them out of the wall. I don't know. That was unexpected. You want to go see who's at the front door? Go ahead. So I want to talk about how, although it's easy to say we should plan ahead for these things, it's not that easy for us. It's easy to say in theory, but as we know, we don't really know what that means sometimes. Am I right? Some people say plan ahead, just plan ahead. Well, ADHD isn't really the kind of isn't the kind of condition that predisposes us to planning ahead well. We don't plan ahead, a lot of us, because we don't really know what that means in regards to, well, first of all, the time issue. What is planning ahead? Planning ahead for the next hour, the next day, the next week? Let me see. Somebody is asking, do I find it easier to coach others than coach yourself? I do. Absolutely. It's just like your mental health therapist. Your mental health therapist all day can tell you how to live a better, healthier, more balanced life. But then you might go to your, just make a surprise visit like, hey, Dr. So-and-so, I was in the neighborhood and your house is a mess. You're fighting with your husband. Your kids are crazy. It's the same thing. It's easier for anybody to give somebody else sound advice, solid advice. But it's hard for us to practice that because it's easier for humans to see the fault or what needs to be or can be corrected in others than it is to see those things in ourselves. And those of us with ADHD, we oftentimes don't have a strong sense of awareness, self-awareness. So a lot of times we don't recognize the weak link in our chain. So I'm going to finish off this train of thought I started about the planning ahead, and then I'll start looking at your comments and addressing those specifically, okay? First of all, it is Sunday morning. If anybody is taking time out from going to church to spend time here, you should have gone to church, okay? I'm just going to say you should be in church because everybody needs God right now. The world is crazy. The world's crazy. But I just want to take a quick moment just to say thank you, God, for this moment to spend with anybody who wants to spend time in here with me today. So I hope whatever that I share with you today is a blessing, and I hope that you can go out and be a blessing to others today. Having said that, I need to sit on a pillow. All this headroom in this frame is driving me nuts. There we go. There we go. Maybe. Yeah, you know what I'm going to do, guys? Give me 1 second. I'm just going to drag a taller chair. And yes, please make fun of my Snoopy sheets. I don't care. I like Peanuts and Snoopy and Woodstock, and I sleep on children's sheets. Oh, you know what? No, I don't sleep on children's sheets. I sleep on adult-sized sheets with children's cartoons printed on them. And I'm not ashamed, okay? Not ashamed of that. They make me happy. They make my dogs happy. My dogs like Snoopy. Snoopy's a dog. Who am I lying to? They make me happy. All right. Here we go. Oh, that's better. Okay. Oh, that's better. All right, everybody. If anything, I hope you witnessing my little small struggles this morning will encourage you that you can still keep going. You can still keep going no matter what roadblocks. You can drive right over those roadblocks if you can. Don't let things discourage you. You know, I could have chosen to not do this live stream this morning because I'm like, oh, I'm not ready. Well, so what? Sometimes we have to do things before we're ready. All right. So what I was saying about the planning ahead and why a lot of times, most of the time, it's not so easy for us to plan ahead. It's because we don't understand what that means. And I'm going to explain that quickly. It may or may not mean something to you, but here goes. Who has a to-do list? Right? Give me a thumbs up if you have a to-do list out there. Who has a to-do list? If you have a to-do list, okay. Comments right now. If you have a to-do list, I'm willing to bet your to-do list has a lot of items on the to-do list. A lot of repeat items. And I'm willing to bet you have multiple versions of a to-do list that probably has the same to-do items on them. And I'm willing to bet if you have a never-ending, never completed to-do list, that you might feel maybe either weighed down by the items on your to-do list that you want to get done, but every time you go to do them, you get overwhelmed, and then you're like, I'm do something else. May not be something on the to-do list, but it's something that you can get done right away and check it off, and then you feel better because you did something. The reason a lot of the items on your to-do list never get done is because they're not simple tasks. And if any of you are coaches out there, or if any of you have done any work with a priority matrix, also called an Eisenhower matrix, then you know that there are tasks and there are projects. A task is something that you can quickly check off your to-do list, and it makes you feel good because it gives you a sense of accomplishment, gives you that dopamine rush that makes us feel good, right? But your projects that are on your to-do list that you never seem to be able to get done or get to, things like redecorate the room, the bedroom, write a book, look for a job, get a new job, go back to school, whatever. Things that are on your to-do list that are, in your mind, extremely important, and a lot of times they are. These are the most important things on your to-do list, and you have the most guilt and shame about them. Most guilt and shame about them because you can't seem to get them done. It's because they're not tasks. My friends, my sisters, and my brothers, those are not tasks. Those are projects. Redecorating your room, finding a new job, going back to school. If you have anything on your to-do list that is that vague and that big, it's not getting done because more than likely you don't know where to start. And any project that's on your to-do list has to be broken down. You have to have a step one. You have to have you have to know, like, what do I do first here? And that is where the planning ahead comes in. I'm going to try and explain this as quickly as possible. As a matter of fact, I am going to be teaching a course, hopefully in December, that teaches how to be able to break down all of these important things that are on your to-do list that you can never seem to get done, and help you learn how to do it for yourself on a Kanban. Anybody know what a Kanban board is? Give me a thumbs up if you've heard of a Kanban board. If you have heard of Trello, like these digital versions of Kanban board. Trello is just one. It's an app. There are others like that. They're digital versions, but board is like the OG analog version of a project manager. That's what it is. It's an external project manager. All three words of what that is are so important to those of us with ADHD. External project management. External project management. Don't look at how ashy my hands are. Please, just ignore that part. I had a dream last night I had ashy hands, and look, it came true. Anyway, external. If you have a terrible short-term memory, which you probably do, that's your, that's called our working memory. If you can't remember all of the tips and tools and tricks you've learned to manage your ADHD, let me take these Coke bottles off. Those are reading glasses. Why am I sitting here looking at myself in reading glasses? It's because we forget. We forget the things we learn. We forget the things that we have to do on any given day if we're trying to remember it, right? So Dr. Russell Barkley, one of the preeminent researchers in ADHD alive today, in any of his books, podcasts, he has a wonderful YouTube channel. He points out that our brains, our ADHD brains, are not meant for information storage. We try to treat our brains like a file cabinet, okay? We think our brains are meant to remember things. And that's great for people who don't have short-term memory issues. Our issues with executive functioning deficits. And part of that executive functioning is working memory. What is working memory? Short-term memory. That's why you could make a to-do list the night before you go to bed. Okay, I'm gonna do this and this tomorrow. I'm gonna, go to sleep, wake up in the morning. It's like a mind wipe. You have no memory, no recollection that you actually put something down somewhere that you're going to do it. It's because you haven't planned to do that thing. You haven't externalized it to yourself where you can see it out in your environment. So that's why a lot of the things that we think about during the day, I need to do so and so. I should do this. I should call that person. I need to get back to that person. It's like the second you think it, if there's no way to activate on that immediately, it's like the wind is taking it away. That's why we forget so many things. That's why we forget to do so many things. People get mad at us because it's like, I told you to do so and so. Did you though? Or you're like, oh yeah, you did. I forgot. I'm sorry. And it always puts us one down, feeling guilty and like we're always failing other people. So, back to Kanban. I'm going to be teaching a course in December. Please email me if you want to sign up for this course. It'll be, I haven't determined how much it'll be. It'll be super affordable. And trust me, the knowledge you'll get from it will be worth way more than the $15, $20 you'll spend to take this course. And the only reason I'm charging for it is because, well, it's my time. It takes a lot of time to plan these things out ahead. But back to what a Kanban. External project manager. So things on your to-do list that you can't seem to get done. Get a new job. Go back to school. Lose weight, whatever. The Kanban board helps you to break down those things on your to-do list that are actually projects, not tasks, but projects. And you take the thing. Let's say, for example, one of you, tell you what, somebody type in the chat right now, what is a thing on your to-do list that you can't seem to get done? Somebody type that in right now, and I'll address that right now. And I'll wait for it. But I'm going to read some comments that you guys have typed in so far. Sarita Wallace. Good morning, Sarita. Sarita says, staying focused at work and keeping track of projects on behalf of my clients. Yeah, that's actually, maybe this will help you, what I'm about to talk about with Kanban. Loki says, Larry! Yes, Larry. Larry's already taken his morning nap now. He's already asleep. His dog's already asleep over here. Love. Do I find it easier to coach others? Yeah, I addressed that one already. The answer is yes. Love also says, my room is a wreck at the moment, but I could easily organize a friend's room to perfection. Isn't that the truth, Love? That's the truth. And Love, you know what? If you want to stick around, we can straighten up our rooms together. If you want to, we can make a game of it. In a little bit while we're live. We can all set a goal. 10, 15 minutes. We'll time ourselves and we'll see if we can get the goal done. That's a fun game. I like that. Let me write that down because I will forget I said that. So, who wants to write down something that I can use as an example to talk about how projects can be broken down so that you can actually get started? Let's see. I have 6 people here in the chat right now. Any one of you 6, go ahead. Just write something, or I'm going to pick something myself. Come on, y'all. Come on. Let me know you're alive, guys. Look alive. Writing a book. Okay, thank you, Loki. First of all, Loki, do you want to write a book? Is that like something that's important to you? Is it on your to-do list? Give me a thumbs up if it is, Loki. Or is it you're just throwing something out there? Which, if you're just throwing something out there, that's fine, but I want it to be personal to you. So, Loki, is writing a book something you want to do? Is it on a to-do list that you haven't gotten to yet? Please, just give me a thumbs up if it is. Thumbs up, Loki, please, if it is. Give me a thumbs up if it is, Loki. And while I'm waiting on Loki to respond, I realize that she's writing a book now. Loki, congratulations. Okay. Loki, I think obviously there's some sort of lag between what I'm saying and when you guys are hearing it. Must be that broadcast delay. I don't know. So, Loki, just write one sentence. What is your book about? I'm curious. I'm just curious. What is your book about, Loki? And Loki, by the way, if you want to come on this channel as a guest to talk about your book, please let me know. What is your book about? You know who else has a book out right now or about to release a book? Our friend Jessica McCabe over at How to ADHD. You guys have probably seen her video. She has just released what the cover looks like, and Jessica is actually coming on my channel as a guest, hopefully, in the next couple of weeks before the International Conference for ADHD, which is being held in Baltimore, November 29th through December 2nd. Is anyone in this chat right now going to the conference? Loki says, I'm writing a graphic novel about a non-binary student. Okay. A graphic novel. I almost got the words backwards. I was almost going to say she's writing a non-graphic novel about a binary student. That's what it looked like. Glad I got it right. Loki is writing a graphic novel about a non-binary student. And they also have ADHD. All right, Loki, congratulations. That sounds so fascinating. And it sounds like it's going to be so adventurous. And how far along are you, by the way? If you can quickly just tell me, how far into the process are you? While I'm waiting on Loki's response, I have to pick up something off the floor here, guys. Jessica is going to be my guest on my... And is there anybody who's watching right now? Down to 2 people. My goodness. Okay, that's all right. Is it just me and Loki still? I don't know who's still here. But if anybody's going to the International Conference for ADHD at the end of this month, please come find me. Let me know that you watch the channel. So, all right, Loki. You don't have to like tell me how far along you are. Let's just take writing a book as an example. So if you're just tuning in or if you've lost track, we're talking about how to do those things on our to-do list that we seem to not be able to do because we don't know where to get started. So just to recap, look at your to-do list, okay? The things that give you the most anxiety, the things that you feel the worst about, the things that give you shame and weigh you down and overwhelm when you look at your to-do list, I'm willing to bet more than likely are the things that are the most important things on that list, and you can't get them done because you don't know where to start. So there's a difference between tasks on your to-do list and projects on your to-do list. A task typically is something you can do a one and done. You can wipe it out with a phone call, an email, pay a bill. It's just some sort of activity that task can be eliminated in a very short period of time. All right? Those other things, those are projects, those have to be broken down into smaller steps so that you know where to start. That is why we can never seem to clear the things off of our to-do list that are important to us because we don't know the first step to take. So if you have write a book on your to-do list, and I do as well, write a book. Well, I look at that going, ooh, yeah, I still got to write a book. And so maybe you decide, okay, I'm gonna do that today. I'm gonna sit down and get started on that. So you sit down, you're sitting at your desk or wherever you write, and you have an idea maybe for the book. Maybe the whole thing's in your head. Maybe you can see it, in your mind's eye, but you have no clue where to get started. And that's because you didn't give yourself a step one. And step one isn't the actual typing or writing. The step one is the planning to plan. Does that make sense? Planning to plan. So I'm going to take Loki, for example. Love says she's afraid to take her Adderall. Love, I'm going to come back to that. We're talking about Loki. She's writing a book. Those of you who have some big goal you have, I'm talking about how we don't get those big goals done on our to-do list because we don't know where to start. Here's the thing. The big things you have to plan to plan. What do I mean by that? If you have any day of your week, any block of time, 30 minutes, an hour, maybe on a Sunday, maybe on a Saturday, that you're looking at your calendar and you're looking ahead at the week ahead or the month ahead, if you do that. If you don't, that's your step one, to start looking ahead. And where do you plug in these things that are on your to-do list on your schedule? And I'm talking your daily schedule, like down to the minute each day. What are you doing each day? Okay, you might have some tentpole things that never change. If you're in school, you have classes at these times. Well, what about the times you're not in classes? What can you plug into those times that you can accomplish that either need to be done, like laundry, or that are important to you over the long term? Okay? That's where you have to do that intentional planning, and you have to be realistic about how long these things take. And that's hard to do because we think things take a lot less time to do than it actually does, because a lot of us have a poor perception of how time passes. For example, and let's take laundry. You know how long it takes your laundry to dry because your laundry probably has a buzzer. You don't really know, but you hear a buzzer and you're like, oh, my laundry's done. Well, that's only taken about 45 minutes or so, right? You might ignore the buzzer. Your laundry stays in the dryer for another day. Or you might get up and that's the time you plugged into your schedule that day. I'm going to do my laundry. The wash, how long does the wash take? How long does it take to separate your laundry? Like, do you have everything you need to get started? You have to take all those things into consideration and give yourself that good 2 hours, 2.5 hours that you need to do laundry. If something like do laundry is on your to-do list and you keep putting that off because you know It feels like a chore. It feels like a chore because you haven't thought about the step one and really giving it the time, dedicated time that it takes on your schedule to make it a priority. Okay? So let's go back to write a book. You're looking at that item on your to-do list on a Sunday, your planning day, for instance. Write a book. When am I going to write this book? Well, okay, I'm going to write this book on Wednesday. No, you're not. You know you're not. Okay? Technically, I know you're not going to write the whole book on a Wednesday, but you might be thinking, oh, I'm going to start my book on Wednesday. But that's all you're thinking. I'm going to start this book on Wednesday. Okay, what are you starting with? Where are you starting? Do you have everything you need? Have you done your research? Do you have paper for your typewriter if you're doing it old school? Some people are into typewriters now. I totally am, but mine don't work. Do you have, your chapters outlined? Do you have an idea of what you want to talk about? That's the step one. Step one is what you're doing actually with the planning to plan. So by planning to plan, you're sitting down and you are breaking down, or at least thinking about the day that you want to actually plan. So let's say on Sunday, I'm looking at my calendar, write a book. I'm going to put on my calendar, Tuesday is the day I'm going to think about this writing the book thing. That's not even like an obligation to take action, other than I know on Tuesday I'm dedicating my mental time to thinking about this writing the book thing and what I need to do it. Now it's on my calendar, it's externalized, I can commit to it. Tuesday comes along at the designated time. Let's say I put on my calendar Tuesday, 3 p.m., think about writing the book. I sit down, Tuesday. Now I'm thinking about writing the book. That's the plan to plan. Okay, so now I'm planning. What do I need to get started writing this book? Now, this is where you break down the writing the book into as many steps as you need. Okay? I apologize if I've been a little long-winded. Well, that's how I am. I want to make sure that I'm being clear. If I'm not being clear, please say so. But this is how you break down a project. Writing a book, something like writing a book on your to-do list, cleaning your room, go back to school, get a job. If anything is vague like that on your to-do list, that thing is actually a goal. That's not a task. That is a goal. That goal in that project that's the end point. Write a book. That's the end point. That's the goal. Write a book. Because that is a goal, you take the goal and you walk backwards. Each step it took to get to that goal. Okay? Write a book. That's the end result. Yay, I wrote a book. What happened before? What happened the moment before you finished? You got, let's say not even like the actual book in hand, just you got the material ready to submit to a publisher. Yay, I finished writing my book. What was the moment before? The moment before was probably a rewrite. And that rewrite took several days, weeks, however many. So you're going to write these things down, by the way, starting with writing the book, okay? This is so practical. I hope it makes sense to you. I'm going to write this down now. If your goal is to write a book, I'm writing this down. That's on your, is this mirrored? That says write a book. That's the goal. What was the step before? That was probably the rewrite. That was the step before the rewrite. What was the step before the rewrite? The writing. Woo! The writing. That's a whole other goal right there. The writing. What were you writing about? Ooh, here we go. Now we're getting down to the work. What are you writing about? What is your book about? Do you know that? Do you have a title? Do you have a topic? Is it a vague idea? Is it Loki? She's writing a graphic novel. She's got that much down, so she knows the format. Are you writing fiction? Are you writing nonfiction? Are you writing a memoir? Are you writing an autobiography? Are you writing a historical piece? I mean, I guess we can really break down things into fiction, nonfiction, right? So which one of those categories? What are you writing? What is your story about? Who are the characters? These are all the things that need to be thought about in the process. So that's the what. See? That's the what. We got the what before we get to the writing. So now you've got the what. Hopefully written down, just maybe a vague outline. This book is about such and such. This book is about a non-binary character, using Loki's idea, who has ADHD, and it's a graphic novel, and I'm sure she has all the plot and the story and everything mapped out. Okay, so now we got the what. Before that becomes the when. When are we planning on carving out time in our day to sit down and write? You're not going to write it all in one day unless you're James Franco. James Franco, the actor, who seems to be able to get a university degree and direct a movie and start a TV show and travel the world and grope a girl in a hotel room inappropriately and do all the things. James Franco has so many things going on at one time, and he does them all well. I'm like, how many James Francos are there? So, unless you're James Franco and you can multitask like that, you're going to be probably fitting in your wins into your regular life you got going on right now. You're going to be fitting in around your job, your school, your kids, whatever you got going on. So, the win is very important, and I'll tell you why it's important. Your win needs to be in alignment in alignment with whatever you got going on with your ADHD brain. If you're trying to sit down and write at a time of day when your executive functioning is low, like you have no more bandwidth left for the day, and you're sitting down and you're staring at a blank screen and you're thinking, but I did everything right. I planned the time each day that I'm going to write, and I got nothing. I'm too tired. Consider working with your brain instead of against your brain. Whenever we work against our brain, we are whatever the thing we're trying to get done, it's almost like an afterthought because we're not thinking intentionally. If it's something that requires a lot of executive functioning, like sitting down to write, think about the time of day when you have the most energy, right? The most mental focus. And it's going to vary for people depending on what kind of schedule you keep. But generally speaking, and this is for people without ADHD too, your mental focus tends to be sharper in a specific window, not too long after you wake up, right? You get through the whole, gotta get awake thing, drink coffee. But then, let's say you have a traditional 9 to 5 structure of your day, and you're at work or school. You might notice that your mental focus and clarity, even maybe without medication, if you're on medication, probably starts peaking around 10 a.m. You're like, oh, 10 a.m. Whew, okay, I'm awake. Whew. Okay, what are you doing with that mental peak to noon? Are you wasting it scrolling social media? Are you putting it to good use to do those things at your job that you don't really enjoy doing, and you keep procrastinating until the end of the day or the end of the week, to file those reports, to send out those emails, to do, the busy stuff that just doesn't get you excited. So you kind of push it off until the end of the day, end of the week, end of the month, and then you're overwhelmed because now you're on a deadline to turn in those things that you could have been keeping up with on a daily basis. That productive window is the time you could be using to do that, to stay on top of things, right? So let's take it back to the trying to write a book. You're going to have more than one peak energy time during the day. We all do, okay? Most people, it's sometime in the morning, and then you get a lull in the afternoon, maybe right after lunch. For me, my lull starts around 2:30. And between 2:30 and 4:30, unless I've taken my stimulant medication, I'm on Adderall. I'm not even going to try to pretend I'm not. People are so like, ooh, you can't say Adderall. Yeah, you can. Okay. Unless I've taken my medication, I am kind of useless mentally between 2:30 to about 4:30 or 5. And so I know that anything that requires a lot of mental focus won't get done between 2:30 and 4:30 unless I've taken my Adderall. Okay? Now, a lot of people, and when I say a lot of people, I'm talking about myself and my clients. 12 clients on a one-on-one basis right now. And we've individually had these conversations. And a lot of them start to hit another second wind, mental focus, sometime after 6 o'clock, 6:30, 7 o'clock. Okay? And that can last up until about 9 o'clock. So if you're one of those people, what are you doing with your time between, the start of your second mental peak and then when it drops off? Are you playing video games during that time? Okay, well, that's great. If you don't have any goals that you want to meet that require mental focus, are you just binge watching? I do. Not every night, but I'm starting to realize, hey, I got things that I could be doing this time of night. So I'm going to stop binge watching whatever show I'm watching and try to do some of these things this time of night. So let's say you were sitting down in the afternoon around 4 o'clock, all of your brain functions just like, and you're trying to start that book. That's why you're having trouble. You're trying to start a book when you have no executive function to commit to it. So think about when your peak mental focus is, and if you can use that time to get done the writing the book, the looking for a job, after you've broken it down into the steps, starting with the goal and walking your way backwards, use the win part, the win, to get these things done. Okay? Set realistic goals. I know you've probably heard that before, but if your peak mental time is only, a couple of hours in the morning, couple of hours in the evening, if you can get into it, and that leads me to the next step, the sitting down to get into it, you're going to get your flow. Okay? Now, what's the step before the win? Okay, now we've decided, I should be starting this, I should be working in my peak mental time. This is where a lot of people with ADHD, most people with ADHD, hit a major speed bump. And it's the sitting down, the getting started. Okay? Can I get an amen on the getting started part? It's so hard. Even on things we enjoy doing, it is so hard to get started. Why is it hard to get started? Well, a lot of times, I'm just gonna tell you, in a one-on-one coaching session, I would help you discover this for yourself, but I'm just gonna tell you. Two of the main reasons that I've seen that people have a hard time getting started is A, they were doing something else before and they have trouble transitioning from one activity to the next. It could be whatever you were working on before, okay? We, with ADHD, we have a very hard time shifting our mental focus from this to that, okay? And it could be because we're in the flow on this thing before, and now we gotta, it's 6 o'clock, gotta start working on that book. But I'm still doing this thing over here. I want to fit, okay? That's because we're not scheduling into our day transition time. And a transition time might just be, a 30-minute buffer between stopping the activity before and starting the next activity, okay? So keep that in mind. I hope you're taking notes. So schedule in transition time. That's one of the reasons it's hard for us to sit down and get started on things, because we don't know how to stop the thing we were doing before. Another reason we have issues sitting down to get started on things, even the things we enjoy doing, is we don't know where to start. Okay? We're getting back into the whole circular thing here. We don't know where to start. Well, guess what? If you have mapped out like a roadmap here for yourself, you've made a blueprint, step A, B, C, the when and the what. This is your what. Your what tells you what you're going to be working on when you actually sit down. Do you know how much easier it is to get started on something when you have everything you need right there in front of you, ready to go? Okay? So if it's, you know, working on that book, what do you have in front of you? You've got your notes, you've got, you know, your character, you've got where you've left off before, or if this is the first word, you've got an outline. Maybe you've got 100 of these index cards. It's your roadmap, and you're like, this is where I'm starting today. So a lot of times we can't get started because we don't know where to start. What is step one? See how there's like a lot of little steps involved? I know it sounds complicated, but trust me, if you're have guidance with a coach or a partner and a coach to help you break down these things, because I know a lot of people can't even take the time, and not being disparaging, but it's hard. It's hard to figure out these steps if you've never had to do this before. Okay. Another reason why a lot of us with ADHD have trouble getting started, okay, transitions, not knowing where to start, not having a step one. Another thing is could be some sort of emotional blockage, okay? If you guys were watching my live stream at all on Friday, Brendan Mahan of ADHD Essentials, the inventor of the concept of the wall of awful, that's the emotional barriers that prevent us from getting started on something because it's built up with anxiety within us because we're expecting failure, or we've, you know, just something has been painful about the thing and it's built up in our mind and it's creating a wall that we have to overcome. So getting started, know where to start, build in some transition time so that you can go from the last thing you were doing to getting started on this. Or if you have a wall of awful, give that some thought. Give that some thought and examine that. I'm not an expert on the wall of awful, but I can put in a link to Brendan's ADHD Essentials podcast in the chat eventually, or in the description, so that you guys can go check out his podcast. And yeah, Jessica McCabe has a few videos on the wall of awful with Brendan, but don't go there now. You're with me right now. All right. So now you have your win. Your win, well, your win is going to be as long as it takes to get to the what. And eventually, these are the steps, guys. This is the writing the book example. Your wins, your whats, the actual doing, the writing, the rewriting, and then you've written a book. So that's how you break down, for example, writing a book. And, you know, if it's you're just writing an essay, that could take a week, 2 weeks. You're writing a full-on, you know, epic novel. You're writing a Lord of the Rings trilogy, that could take years. But if you have a roadmap and consistency and you know exactly what you're doing every time you sit down to do it, it's going to feel a lot easier than the sitting down with just the vague writing a book in your head. I hope that was helpful to somebody. All right, now, let me read what we got in the chat here. By the way, if you're just joining me, hi, I'm Stacey Michelle. Welcome, my sisters and my brothers. Welcome to ADHD is the New Black, the live Q&A live stream. And while I'm going over some of the messages here, please, guys, feel free if you want to type in whatever ADHD question you have. If it's a coaching thing, I'll address it. If it's just a general ADHD thing, if I know about it, I'll address it. Okay, so Loki, hi, Loki, okay. Loki, she said she made the outline. She's almost finished with the background, and it's the main character's journal. Thank you so much for the positivity. You're welcome. And I hope anything I just said about how to break down the steps of getting to the writing the novel part, hope that helped you. As a matter of fact, everybody, when this live, I will put some of these notes and steps in the description that you can go back and, you know, use them for yourself later. All right. So, love, are you still here? Give me a thumbs up, love, if you're still here. Love, thumbs up, please, if you're still here. I want to address you're afraid to take your Adderall statement. And Loki, yes, you're welcome. Loki says these tips are so helpful. She feels like this kind of stuff will make this long-term goal a realistic plan. When I publish, you're totally getting a shout out. You're doing such important work here. Thank you, Loki. I appreciate that. Big Mrs. Hi, you're 30 years old. Your son. Okay. All right. I don't know what these are in reference to. Maybe I missed the context, but hey, Big Mrs. All right. Your 30-year old son, is that what you're saying, who has ADHD? I don't know. I can't fill in the blanks. I'm not a mind reader. Give me more information. Love, love. Are you still here? Love, love. Love, love. Love, love. Give me a thumbs up if you're still here. Love, love. Love, 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 love. Thumbs up, love, love. Love, 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 love if you're still here. Okay, well, I'll go ahead and address that. If she's still here, she'll hear it. If she's not, maybe this will help you guys. So Love Love mentioned here in the chat that she's afraid to take her Adderall. I don't know why. I would need more information about that. Could be a health thing. Could be I don't know. I'm not a mind reader. But this is what I will say. And I have to, first of all, make it clear, I'm not a medical doctor, okay? I am an ADHD coach. I have a lot of what medicines do and don't do. And again, I'm not an expert on medication. I'm not a professional expert on medication, but I am a coach expert on medication. And I can also share an episode of a podcast with William Dobson that he did on, I think, ADHD Essentials, or maybe it was another podcast where he is a medical professional on ADHD medication, and he breaks down very clearly what medication does and does not do. Okay, so I'm going to dive into the medication thing real quick. It seems to be a taboo in social media for some reason, and I know why. I think I know why. You know, the stimulants, Adderall, whatever, there's been a shortage for a long time. Praise God, I can get mine now, so I'm not suffering in that way. But if you're not on medication and well, first of all, let's assume everybody here in the live has an ADHD diagnosis. You know, either you took an assessment online, you took it to your doctor, or you took the assessment at the doctor's office. It's pretty much the same if it's the short version. An ADHD assessment, like at a doctor's office, that's not the short version, is going to take into consideration your struggles, your symptoms across the span of your lifetime. And that's typically how a true diagnostic looks, right? But ever since COVID, you know, the whole process was kind of truncated, and now everybody has ADHD. Everybody does not have ADHD, but the point is, everybody decided they must have something. So let me see if I can get some Adderall and make it work. So let me give you a little bit of background on my experience with medication before I talk about why, if you're on medication, it may not be working for you, or why you think it may not be working for you. And before I tell you my background, I just want to make sure I don't ramble. Let me just go ahead and preface this with, your medication may not be working if you're on it for one of these reasons. Either A, you were prescribed a medication that just isn't a fit for you. That happens. B, maybe you're on a medication that you were seeing some efficacy with when you first started taking it, and then you noticed a drop off on how you were feeling on it, but you haven't been back to your doctor to manage the dosage. A lot of times, most of the time, all of the time, I'm sorry, a doctor will put you on the lowest dosage possible as a baseline, and then they will keep increasing the dosage to find where your sweet spot is. And in order to get to that sweet spot, oftentimes you have to be taken over the sweet spot to determine where the sweet spot is, and then they'll bring you right back just under that, okay? So a lot of times people won't give it a chance. They won't go back to the doctor and tell them, hey, you know, this was working for about a day, and now I'm not feeling it anymore. You gotta stay in communication with your doctor so they can keep, you know, tweaking it upward and upward to find your sweet spot. So either you're not on a medication that is, you know, working with your chemistry, or you haven't found your sweet spot with your medication. Or here's another reason. You're on a medication that does work with your chemistry, but you're taking it at a wonky time, okay? You're taking it either with the wrong foods or beverages, and wrong foods meaning maybe you're taking it with some very fatty foods. Maybe you're taking it with your breakfast that has fat in it, like, I don't know, pork sausage, beef, I don't know. Maybe you're taking it too close to a meal that has fat in it. When that happens, the medicine kind of gets absorbed by the fat, and you're not getting the full effect of the medication. Or you're taking it with something that has vitamin C in it, citric acid, like any fruit juice, orange juice, lemon juice, anything that's, has citric acid in it as a preservative or flavoring. Look at what you're taking your medication with. Ideally, you're just taking it with water, okay? If you're taking it with anything that's more than water, see what's in it. Is there ascorbic acid in it? Is there citric acid in it? That might be the issue, because the citric acid, when combined with your stimulant medication, basically renders the medication ineffective. It's like you just wasted a pill. It's like, what happens? And you can test it if you want. Take your medication with whatever you're taking it with that has citric acid in, and then notice how often you go to the bathroom afterwards. Your body will flush it right out, and then you're like, my medication doesn't work. What's going on? It's because maybe you're taking it with a beverage that is sending it right out of your system before it hits your brain. So I had to learn that myself. And then another reason is you just didn't give it a chance. Either with, like I said, the tweaking the dosage up, or perhaps, this is a tough one, not a tough one, it's a tricky one, but some of my clients have experienced this. And of course, everything I'm saying, you want to talk with your doctor about. I mean, yes and no. You can determine what time of day you take your medication, right? What is medication? What is stimulant medication or any of the ADHD medications? Yeah, it's a pharmaceutical, duh, but it is a tool. It is one tool in your toolkit of I don't want to say tricks, but support for your executive functioning, right? Your pills, have you heard this? Pills don't teach skills. Yeah, that's true. The pills help you to learn the skills, but they don't teach the skills, right? The pills help you to adhere to the behavior that's going to help you learn the skills, but the pill itself isn't the answer, right? The pill's not a magic bullet. So, remember, if you were here earlier, I talked about the peak times of your mental focus naturally. For some people, it's like, between 10 and 12, 9 and 11, and then, maybe you get another second wind later in the day. Well, here's what happens for some people. A lot of people are taking their medication on top of their peak mental focus time. Not intentionally, but it's just the time of day you're taking your meds. A lot of people, myself included, I will take my meds before I get out of bed, okay? Because I have a hard time waking up. I have a hard time getting focus in the morning, and I wake up kind of early. I wake up before my natural peak mental focus would happen. And I metabolize drugs pretty quickly. So I set an alarm. This is a strategy a lot of people with ADHD use, by the way. If you're an early riser, or if you have to be an early riser and you don't want to be an early riser, but you have to get up in the morning, or you're trying to build some new habits, healthy habits. So you want to get up with the sun so you can, maximize the day. Okay, so a lot of people with ADHD that I know of, a lot of my clients who are on medication, myself included, I set an alarm for about 45 minutes to almost an hour before I actually want to get out of bed. That alarm is my take my medication alarm, okay? I know what that alarm means. I hear it. Sometimes it's hard for me to even wake up long enough to reach over to the side table to take my medication, which is why I have a few backups. So I have an alarm. I have my smart speaker tell me at that time, Stacy, take your medication. So I do, and then go back to sleep. when that second alarm rings, which is the actual time I want to wake up, oh my gosh, I'm ready to go. I'm alert. I'm up. I'm ready to start my day. Okay? That bridges me to the time of morning where my focus naturally is clear and strong. Okay? That bridges me to that. So what that does, it enables me to keep to a healthy morning routine. It helps me, get out of the door relatively on time. It just keeps me focused in the morning. So I'm not like, tripping the light fantastic. My favorite song comes on. Oh my gosh, my favorite song. And now I'm like, singing karaoke in my room when I should be getting myself together and out the door. The medication keeps me focused on that until my natural executive functioning strength kick in. Okay? So, if your medication's not working, what time of the day are you taking it? Are you taking it when you're already focused? Therefore, you may not be feeling a huge difference. You're like, I took the drugs and I'm just, okay, whatever. It's whatever. Maybe it's whatever because you're taking it when you don't actually really need it. Okay? Think about that. So, I take mine first thing in the morning, and then I take it when I hit my afternoon lull, right around 1:30, 2 o'clock, because it's a tool, and because I don't have the luxury of going to bed and taking a nap between 2 and 4. Maybe you do. Maybe you do. Okay? I could. I actually could. But I do ADHD coaching, and I don't want to take a nap during the day because I want to be able to fall asleep and get some, good sound sleep at night. I want to be tired when I go to bed at night. So I take my second dose right before I hit my afternoon lull, which carries me into the evening to my second wind, my natural second wind. And then after that, I don't dose anymore. So those are things to think about. I was going to tell you my medication story. It's real quick. I was first diagnosed with ADHD when I was 26 years old in my first career as a broadcast news reporter. Started out as a newspaper reporter for a year. It was boring. It wasn't exciting like I thought it would be. Has nothing to do with the industry. It was just me. I'm like, oh, this is so not All the President's Men. I thought this would be like Woodward and Bernstein. I'm old, okay? Okay. Wasn't exciting like I thought it would be. But I kept seeing, the TV news reporters out in the field. I'm like, that looks real exciting. So I applied for a job at one of the TV stations. I got it. And I did well after, I got over the steep learning curve. I did really well with live shots. The breaking news, the ambulance chasing, the siren chasing, anything that required, me hitting a deadline that day, that required a lot of, just running and gunning. Did that part great. Okay, I excelled at that part. Being on camera, love that part. But it was the little things, the details, the built-in parts of the job that, does not change every day. Certain things I was responsible for to turn in every single day. Like, how long does this story run? What's the in cue? What's the out cue? Things like that. I would forget to do those things frequently, and I would get into trouble for that. Okay, so I was starting to feel like, well, I'm a loser. Easy stuff everybody else can do, consistently, and I keep forgetting. I must be stupid. That's what I was starting to feel like. But then I went to see a mental health specialist because I was getting really depressed that I couldn't seem to manage the easy stuff of my job. And she said to me, Stacey, have you considered you might have ADD? And I just remember thinking, I never thought about that. I don't even know what that is other than little white boys have it. And so she prescribed Ritalin to me, which was the little white boy drug of choice at the time. This is in the 90s. There weren't too many options. So she prescribed Ritalin to me, and I'm just like, literally, guys, I was like, I got my pills. I got the answer. I got a magic pill. I thought I had a magic pill. And so I was expecting to take this pill and just be like super reporter, super detail, super whatever was broken with me. I thought, I'm like, these pills are going to fix that. They didn't. And it didn't because I didn't have education about what the pills do and don't do and what they were for. And she didn't, to my knowledge, tell me. And I had no education about it. So that's the thing. It's like doctors will, throw medication at you. And good luck with that. Good luck. Good luck with those pills. And it's like, okay, great. But then you don't know how to utilize it. You don't know how to optimize the pills and what they're for. So because I was taking them, I'm sure, the wrong way, didn't go back to like see if I was on the right dosage, blah, blah, blah. I was like, I guess I just don't have that ADD thing because these pills don't work. In my mind, that's it. I don't have it. Kept going forward. Okay. So kept, plowing through the next 20 years of my life, struggling with all the same things I've been struggling with, no matter no matter the circumstances. And I was doing a lot of running from myself at that point. I realized that now. I mean, I was advancing. I wanted to get to a bigger market where the pay was better. And, I had goals. I had dreams. I thought I was going to, and this was my dream at the time when I was still in broadcast news, I wanted to get to WGN News in Chicago because that's where my family is. And I wanted to be on WGN News in Chicago because it's a super station. It's like, why not CNN? Because WGN News is in Chicago where my family is. So that was my dream. And then after 7-8 years of, only rising to the level of weekend anchor at a mid-market size station in Rochester, New York, I, kind of hit the end of my road. Our station went through a buyout, and they were eventually going to be firing everybody, but they fired me first. I was so honored. I'm like, I got fired first. No, I was devastated. I'd never been fired from anything before. I'd almost been fired from a lot of stuff. But I think my ADHD, the consequences of it, and just all of the masking that I've been doing, all of the, trying to hide my weaknesses and just all of the negative feedback, and it was all a reflection of like how poorly I felt about myself. I was starting to project outwards, and that was kind of difficult to work with, I guess, by that time. And so, they didn't have any qualm about firing me first after I'd been there a year. I mean, everybody else got fired too, but I was the first. And it was like almost a statement, like, ta-ta. And that's when I realized pink slips are not actually pink. You've heard of the whole, they're giving out pink slips. Pink slips like the firing. I guess they were pink at one time. I don't know. Maybe back in the 30s. I don't know. But yeah, pink slips aren't pink. And so that's when I moved to New York City with the idea that, well, I'm skipping some steps. Don't we skip steps in stories with ADHD? We skip so many steps. We skip a lot of details. I haven't even filled in the blanks. Okay, so I'll fill in the blanks if you care. I was also simultaneously, when I was weekend anchor at that news station, was also doing the morning news drive at a radio station in Rochester at the same time. So I kind of had two jobs. I would do the morning drive with the morning crew at the radio station, one of the radio stations. I'll say WDKX Radio in Rochester, New York. I loved that job. That was so much fun. They were so much of a family, and they really stepped up and supported me when I got fired from my news job at Fox. Anyway, so I was doing the morning drive there, and then I'd go in the afternoon and do my regular shift at the Fox affiliate that I worked for. So when I got fired from Fox, I still had my DKX radio gig, and I thought they were going to fire me because they fired me because I was a local talent, visible talent from the TV station. And they were like, no, honey, you're family, you're good. And I was like, thank you, God. So I started plotting to, you ever look back on something and you're like, why was I in such a hurry to leave town? Like, I kind of had some security there. But no, it was already in my mind that I was going to go to New York City and start acting. It's like I'd rather play a reporter than be a reporter. So within several months, 3 or 4 months of being let go from my news job, and I voluntarily left the radio station. I got a big send-off and everything. It felt nice. It felt validated in some ways. Went to New York City with $3,000 in my pocket. I thought I was rich. I'd never saved that much money before because, guys, I don't know if you know my story. I'm not very good with finances. But I also will say, can you see the shame on my face right now? This is what happens when you're ashamed of something still. And you're like, I thought I'd worked through that. No, this is the shame on my face. But, making a lot of money at the time, so it's kind of hard to be good with something you don't have. You know what I'm saying? And also, this was in the year 2001, summer of 2001. Moved to New York City with $3,000 on August 29th, 2001. Remember that? And then September 11th, 2001 happened. And woo, that's when my life went whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay? Everything that happened after that, guys, has just been an adventure, me growing, me learning about myself, still outside of the context of ADHD, because I still did not remember that I had it. You know what I'm saying? I'd already forgotten that I had that diagnosis. So this was part of the just me just pushing through life with ADHD and not knowing it and suffering the consequences of that. So I don't even remember where I was going with this. I was talking about the medication. So basically, long story long, it really wasn't until 2019, 5 years ago, living here, that just all of my bags of tricks, all of my, coping mechanisms, just everything, there was just nothing left. And I was exhausted and tired. Exhausted with myself. And I was tired, and I was working like 5 different jobs, just 5 side hustles, just trying to make it. Because when I moved to New York, I did have success as an actor. I did, a few commercials, a lot of theater, had a recurring role on a couple of soap operas. So, my income was kind of balanced out between actually acting and bartending or waiting tables or, whatever weird job I could find. Became a tour guide. That was actually pretty good in New York City. And then I come here thinking this was, everybody's like, Stacey, you got to do so well in LA. So much work here. And then I get here and there's like 5,000 me's out here. Like, I'd go to an audition and there's literally like 30 other women who kind of look like me. And I would be like, well, y'all better leave because I'm here, bitches. This is my job. And then it's like, no, didn't quite work out. Los Angeles has been an adventure in reinvention many times over. And it wasn't until 5 years ago, after a failed marriage, after just, just trying to figure out, well, I know I'm intelligent, I'm well-spoken, I have good ideas, I'm good under certain circumstances. Why am I feeling so bad? And so that was when I rediscovered my diagnosis, and it felt like life and death this time. Like, I remembered being diagnosed all those years ago and just going, well, whatever. That must not be me. And I'm like, oh my gosh, that is me. And so I was determined I wasn't going to let another day go by without addressing this thing. And so I became so curious, and just not just curious, obsessed about learning about my brain with ADHD. And that's why I am here today, hoping that you all are as obsessed about learning about your brain and learning how to work with it as I have been, because really that's the only way any of us who have it are going to reach our potential. Even like we'll all see glimpses of reaching our potential. We'll see what it can be. We know, we have this idea because we've had those moments where we have been operating in our flow, where we're doing a job or a hobby or something that pulls that our strengths just. And so we'll have an idea of what it means to operate in our potential, and we want that to last. Why can't it be like this always? But it's like something in the equation is misaligned with the parts of our ADHD that are challenging to us. Maybe we operate fully in our strengths, with this much in a job that requires this much executive functioning. When in reality, we could be operating in our strengths this much if we had this much executive functioning support to help us so that we can operate at, just our fullest potential. That's the best way I can say it. And so that's why I find it so rewarding to coach people, to help you to figure out how to MacGyver your brain. Do you know what I mean by MacGyver? You guys know the TV show MacGyver? I know there's like a modern version. The version I grew up with was from the 80s. To learn how to MacGyver your brain and work with it so that you can recognize the moments during the day that, oh, I shouldn't even be attempting to do anything on my to-do list because it's not going to get done. I'm just going to sit here and stare at the screen and wonder what I should be writing for this book. Anyway, I'm going to take a look at these comments right now, see what you guys are saying. If you're just joining me, by the way, thank you for joining me on this live stream here. ADHD is the new black. This is a live Q&A. And let's see, guys, what do we have here in the comments? Love just popped in. All right. Let's see. So Love is addressing her Adderall comment. She said she took it for 3 days last year and had the most productive days, then had a full-blown panic attack on day 4 because I forgot to eat beforehand. I literally thought I was dying. Haven't taken it since. Love, are you still here? If you're still here, give me a thumbs up, please, in the chat. Give me a thumbs up. Let's see. Kennard Chambers, hi. Practice guitar and apply for grad school. Those are some of the things that that you need your focus to do. Let's see. Michaela, hi. Is that my niece Michaela saying hi? Michaela, is that my niecey girl, Michaela? Love, are you still there? Love, give me a thumbs up. Love, I will not address your issue until you give me a thumbs up. I do want to address that because I don't want you to miss it. So anyway, who's still here in the chat? We got 13 people here in the chat. Guys, thank you for being on this live stream with me today. This wasn't as last minute as my Friday with Brendan Mahan. Let's see. Greetings from Uzbekistan. Hello from Uzbekistan. Hey, Love is still here. Great. Ermanov, I hope you are doing well in Uzbekistan. I know that that area of the world is probably a little tense right now, if I'm getting my mental geography correct. A good friend of mine was in the Peace Corps in Tashkent a few years ago. I'm glad you're joining me. Love, you're still here. So Love, you say 3 days last year. You had a productive 3 days. She said she had a full-blown panic attack on day 4 because she forgot to eat beforehand and she thought she was dying. She hasn't taken it since. Love. Let me address your issue there. I don't know your physical health status, okay? So again, I'm not giving you medical advice whatsoever. I'm just leaning on my knowledge of stimulant medications. So if your panic attack was a racing heart, anxiety, paranoia, I will tell you that can be a side effect of stimulant medication. It doesn't last though, okay? It doesn't last. Your body gets used to having the stimulant in it, right? And the fact that you took it on a day without breakfast tells me that maybe the days you took it with breakfast, there might have been some fat that absorbed some of the medication. You were able to feel enough to be productive, but then when you took it without food, you got the full-on effect, right? You were just like, I'm wired. Whoa. You know, like you put your finger in a socket. And you didn't die, and that's a good thing. Don't be afraid of the medication. And I say this because when I first started taking the Adderall, I was not only anxious, I was in a lousy mood. I was like aggressive. Okay, I will tell you, I was driving for Lyft at this time. Lyft was one of my side hustles at this time in 2019. And I normally, because I'm a chatty person, I'm that Lyft driver who starts talking to you the second you get in the car. Hey, what's up? How you doing? What's going on today? Yeah, where are we going? What's happening there? Tell me about yourself. Because this is Los Angeles, by the way, you don't know who's going to get in your car, okay? So, you know, I've had celebrities get in my car. I had the guy who watches, by the way, who watched the show Insecure. If you watched Insecure, Issa Rae's show on HBO, you remember her boo that she met when she was a Lyft driver? He got in the car, the good-looking light-skinned brother with the nice eyes and stuff, and she was like talking to him through the rearview mirror. That guy got into my Lyft one day. I'm not joking. He gets in the car, I look in the rearview mirror, and all of a sudden, I'm having deja vu. Where have I seen, what? This is weird. And I'm like, that's the guy from Insecure. So anyway, strange things happen when you live in LA. Strange meaning normal for us. But when I was first starting taking the Adderall, I would get so mad when people got in my car. Okay? I would just be like, oh, I gotta pick up somebody. Ah! And then I would just be like, Stacey, what is the matter with you? Can I calm down? You know, and I would just be like all hopped up, like I was on like steroids or something. Like I've never taken steroids, but I kind of had like this little rage inside. Like I would just be mad that I had to pick up people, and that was like the gig. That was the side hustle. You pick up people, or you don't pay your rent. I would like pull over and I'd pick up people, you know, and they'd get in, and I would just be like aware that I was feeling like, ooh, why am I feeling so aggressive? So I would just have to keep biting my tongue, like, you know, people just like annoying me. Things that would never annoy me before, just like, you know, no, you may not let down the window. You know, like, oh, are you wearing perfume in my car? It was, anyway, those symptoms, those side effects only lasted a couple of days. So love, if you're willing to try it, if you don't have any other pre-existing conditions like heart trouble, high blood pressure, or whatever, give it another try. Okay, please give it another try. And I say please because of this. According to research, this is Dr. Russell Barkley, this is William Dodson, this is all the white papers that are out there on research into stimulant medication, stimulant meds, any one of them, whatever works for you. Ritalin, Adderall, Concerta. They are the first line of treatment for ADHD, for inattentive ADHD, and for hyperactive ADHD. It's the first line of treatment because, according to the research, it is the most effective treatment if your body can tolerate it. Again, I am not a medical doctor. I am not prescribing anything to anyone. I'm just saying that if your body can tolerate it, and when I say your body can tolerate it, meaning you don't have any pre-existing conditions that would preclude you from being able to take stimulant medication. If your quality of life is diminished because of your ADHD and you've been suffering for a long time and you can't seem to get ahead, get up, get going, live a normal life, live the life that you know you're capable of, you're not functioning well, don't discount the medication and what it can do for you. Let's go to the comments here. I'm just looking at myself here on the phone and whew, I need to lose all of this. Okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I've gained some weight over the last 3 years. All right. So, Kennard Chambers, how you doing? Good to see you. Yes, that's what I need to focus on, but the executive functioning part, LOL. I'm not sure what you're referring to. I'm sure it was something from previously in the conversation. Sarita, love's in perfect health. Okay, love, if you're in perfect health, give it another try. I don't know if you caught the part about what makes the medicine less effective if you take it with the wrong things. Don't take it with things that are fatty. Don't take it with anything with citric acid in it. It'll be a waste of a pill, okay? Take it when you need it the most, not during your peak focus hours, your natural peak focus hours, okay? And again, if you find the anxiety part is like just too much for you, the panic attacks are too much, I'm not a medical doctor. However, I'm just sharing. I'm not a medical doctor, sharing information. When people who are on these medications experience like, you know, that anxiety, like you're on the edge too much, doctors, if you ask them, will prescribe a beta blocker. This is a thing. You can Google it. You can look it up. I'm not making this up. A beta blocker, basically a high blood pressure medication, like Inderol, like that. for to take with your medication to keep your blood pressure in check and to take the edge off of the anxiety, the excessive buzz you might be feeling while your body's adjusting to the medication. I'm not a medical doctor. Just want to keep clarifying that, okay? I'm not giving any medical advice. I'm just saying the science is out there. You can Google it. This is what doctors prescribe. It's what I take along with my medication. When I first started taking the Adderall, I was taking this to take the edge off the Adderall. Okay, now I take this because since I gained weight over the last 3 years, my blood pressure has also gotten higher than it ever has before in my life. So I take this to manage my blood pressure when I'm on the Adderall. What I should be doing is just losing this weight, which I'm trying to, okay? I'm trying to be a good person. I'm trying to be a good person. I've gained 60 pounds in the last 3 years, guys. This is COVID weight that has just decided that it doesn't want to go anywhere. Because I'm not trying that hard, to be honest. And I'm not laughing like, oh, this is funny. I'm laughing like it's because this is very uncomfortable for me to talk about. All right. Love. Yes, you went out of your way to take it with fat. Love, you're wasting your medication. Don't take it with fat. You are wasting your meds if you take it with fat. It is absorbing. The fat is absorbing the active ingredients in your meds before it can hit the brain barrier. Okay. You know what? Adderall is too expensive to be wasted. You know, if you're gonna take it with fat, just don't do that. That's illegal. Don't do that. Don't do that. Do not put any Schedule II drugs in the mail and send them to anybody. That is illegal. All right. Any questions in the chat? Keep putting your questions in. And I think I'm probably going to keep this going until about 10 o'clock because I haven't eaten. I did take my Adderall this morning. I haven't eaten a thing. Neither has Larry over here. Larry's just giving up on life. Larry's just like, you ain't gonna feed me today, are you? He's just over here taking a nap. I did want to point this out, guys. Today starts I guess you could say a fund drive, a supporter drive. Officially started on Friday, unofficially, just to see how it would go. And I got a few donations from the live stream to my Venmo, which I appreciate those of you who donated. So, guys, I am on a mission to raise over the course of the next 21 days $5,000. $5,000 in small donations, as small as you'd like to make them, or as large as you'd like to make them. But I am trying to raise this money, guys, for a number of reasons. Number one, I do a lot of work for my channel for free. Everything I've been doing for the last 3 years is for free, by choice. However, because of the circumstances of me going so deep into coaching and just now starting to build a coaching practice, you know, there's a lot of things that I've fallen behind on that I need support from. And I'm hoping that the people in the ADHD community, if you've been enjoying the work that I've been doing, if you'd like to donate any amount to any of my 3 payment methods that are in the description, please check them out. Venmo, and there's a Cash App. If you don't mind, please don't buy one of those little, like, you know, those happy stickers that are on the live stream itself. What do you call those? The thank you. Don't buy that, because that takes forever to process through YouTube. The most direct way you guys can support the work that I'm doing, support, you know, my efforts for all of this, is just go directly to my Venmo or my Cash App or my PayPal and donate any amount. Again, this is like a fund drive that I'm holding the next 21 days, $5,000. And it's kind of like the Lou Rawls Parade of Stars, you know, except Lou Rawls is dead and I'm the only star here along with you guys. Larry is the star. But no, seriously, I'm laughing because I'm very uncomfortable when I start talking about, if you guys, you know, have it in your heart to please just open your wallets and just, you know, donate to one of my payment methods. I have this thing where, and this is why I've always been underpaid. This is why a lot of ADHD people are underpaid, underemployed. A lot of times we don't recognize our worth. A lot of times we don't see the value in what we offer in our spaces. Okay? So a lot of times we won't ask for the salaries we deserve when we work. We won't, if we're freelancing, if we're independent contractors, we will practically give away our we have big hearts and we're empathetic people and we're like, oh, but they probably can't afford it, the economy's bad, and well, there are people who don't have ADHD who give far less value to the world than we do, who don't mind asking, demanding that you pay for their courses that you spend a lot of money on and get absolutely nothing out of it that tangible, that'll last you. And so I want to model the behavior that I'm trying to teach in coaching, and that's to respect the worth of what I know and what I have to offer, and in the spirit that I'm putting it out there. I know that when I started this mission of trying to advocate and educate other people about ADHD, it started out, helping other Black women, women of color. But the deeper I've gotten into the community of ADHD people, here's the thing, guys. Yes, being a minority woman, a diverse woman, does come on with its own set of challenges, but ADHD is just as vicious with men as it is to women. ADHD is just as vicious to our privileged white guys as they are to our not as much privileged, communities of color. ADHD does not care. Okay? Have you guys seen that commercial? Shingles doesn't care. ADHD doesn't care what hue you are, what your gender identity is. It kicks your ass. Okay? It kicks as many white guy asses as it does Black woman asses. And we all struggle, in our own ways. The only difference is, and this is the only difference, is I guess the community of support or the structure you have built around you, or, the safety nets you have beneath you. And, if you're married to someone who doesn't have ADHD, and they're the ones who don't struggle with finances. They're the ones who keep a consistent income in, and they understand, hey, you need structure and support to do your own thing, to fly, because I know whatever you're investing your time in is gonna pay off. That's wonderful. But for those of us who don't have that that safety net, that security, and it's all on us, that's where the disparities are. And I don't mean disparities like, oh, I'm a victim. I mean disparities as this is the reality of it. So I just know that I am putting out everything I put out with love, and I want to validate everybody out there in the community with ADHD. And I would really appreciate it, guys, if you can. I love the thumbs up. I love the hearts. I love all of the wonderful comments you've made on my videos over the years. But at this time, the biggest validation you guys could give me would be just to, donate a few dollars. I would really, because, well, everybody needs money. You can't live without money. I'm so sorry. This is this has been my full-time job, more than full-time job for over 2 years now. And when I say full-time job, I mean full-time time investment. And just by the grace of God, I've been able to, kind of keep me and my animals fed. And, it's tough. But I'm here with you. And so, if you know anybody who would like to donate to this channel to support it too, and they'd like to do so on a monthly membership basis, go over to my Patreon page, ADHD is the New Black on Patreon. If you feel more comfortable doing a monthly thing, please, by all means, ADHD is the New Black on Patreon. So let me see what we got going on in the comments here. Again, guys, post any coaching questions you might have right now. Loki, thank you. Thank you. I appreciate you. Loki is she's going to go ahead and donate what she can right now. Appreciate that. Um, I hope everybody else follows Loki's example and head on over to one of my payment methods. So, it is 9:49, and let me make sure that I was able to address some of the things that I wanted to today. We talked about optimizing medication, optimizing your brain. Make sure that you're doing the things that require a lot of attention at your peak focus hours of the day, and things you don't want to get started on. It's either because you haven't figured out a way to transition from the thing you were doing before, or you don't know where to start. So figure out where to start and figure out if you're having trouble ending the thing before to get started on the next thing. Transition stuff. So I wanted to talk about real quick, again, a course I'm offering in December. I'm still putting it together. It will be a live course. It's called Kanban for ADHD. And I think I started mentioning this. Kanban is an external project management system that goes by different names digitally, like Trello, those other type of things. Here's my issue with anything digital that requires, that promises to keep you on schedule, that promises to help you get things done. Just talking about the digital things. And this is just me, okay? I'm sure there are other people too, but this is my problem with relying on looking at an app to help me do things. I have to remember to look at that app every day. It's not like the second I open my eyes, the app, boop, appears in my line of vision. Someday, I'm sure, maybe even now, maybe some Google goggles or something, that you sleep in, and then you open your eyes and boop, your calendar for the day opens up right in your line of vision, and you're like, oh yeah, that's what I'm doing today. So far, to my knowledge, that doesn't exist. So that means I have to remember to a Trello or my Google Calendar or whatever to look to see what I'm doing for that day, or to see what's on my to-do list, or where I am, in the pursuit of writing my book. I might remember that, but it likely won't be first thing in the morning. Or if I am remembering to do that first thing in the morning before I get out of bed, well, guess what I am now at risk for? Who does this? Before you take your head off the pillow. You just woke up. First thing you're doing is you're reaching for your device. And maybe you're checking your email, or you're going straight to Instagram or TikTok or Facebook or YouTube, or you're checking your calendar. And before you know it, before you've had a chance to get ahead of your own brain, this thing has now, hey, look at that. This thing has now sucked you into it. And now you're spending your best focus hours in the mornings. Not spending, you're wasting. You're wasting your best focus hours falling down the social media rabbit hole. And I know that's an issue for some of you. Somebody in this live stream feels like you have no control over your mornings because the first thing you did was touch your phone with the intention of, oh, I'm just going to check this one thing, or I'm going to see if somebody liked something. And before you know it, and you know it's going to happen, by the way, you know it's going to happen, but you do it anyway because you keep lying to yourself that not this time, I'm going to set a timer, and I'm only going to be on social media for 10 minutes, and then I'm going to get up and get my day started. And then that 10-minute buzzer, alarm, whatever goes off, and you stop it, or you ignore it altogether, and in your mind you're like, oh yeah, there's that alarm, but you keep scrolling, or you're like, 5 more minutes. Next thing you know, it's lunchtime, and you're still not out of bed. You haven't done a thing. That's a huge problem for a lot of people with ADHD. And that is one of the reasons I personally don't like to get on my phone first thing in the morning to use some productivity app, okay, which is just bait, in my opinion, to fall down the social media rabbit hole. So that's just me. That's just me. Now, if you're someone who you would not know what to do with a post-it note on your wall, or you're native, social media is native to you, and you can put up some boundaries and a digital calendar and digital whiteboards and digital vision boards. If that's what works for you, bless you. I wish I was that way. Use what works for you. Use what works for you. But I know for me and a lot of people with ADHD who, before you have a chance to take control of your focus, already down the rabbit hole, despite your best intentions. And so for me, externalizing my to-do list, especially my project, especially the things that are important to me, the things I want to get done, like writing that book for Loki. I have to have those externalized on a Kanban board. And that's what I'm going to be teaching in December. It's Kanban for ADHD. I will have the more details out later, but let me put it out there to you guys first. If you think you'd be interested in joining a live course, Kanban for ADHD, please email me, or at least don't email me. You won't do that. I know y'all. You're like, I'll do it after the live stream. No, you won't. Just say me. Just say me and put in your email address, and I'll contact you with details if you're interested. Okay? Don't even put me. Just leave me your email address in the chat if you're interested in a Kanban for ADHD course in December, taught by me live, and then it'll be for sale later. It'll be cheaper if you do it live. Just saying. It'll be cheaper if you do it live, because after that, I'm going to price the course at whatever the going market rate is for courses. I don't know. So, guys, we're getting pretty close to the end here. I really appreciate all of you for tuning in with me. Oh my goodness. I'm live now. What is it? An hour? No, that's 107 minutes. Wow, time fun. Really? It's been 2 hours almost? Gosh. So guys, what do you want to know? What do you want to ask me? This is your last chance before this live stream ends. What do you guys want to know? What do you guys want to know? Guys, not very talkative group, are you? Not very talkative group. That's okay. That's okay. You guys are probably doing, your thing, and I'm doing my thing, which requires me to sit here. But I just want to encourage all of you. With the clients that I coach, one of the things that eventually comes up is a sense of, well, I don't want to say overwhelm. A lot of times when people start coaching and they start making progress, they're on this huge high. And with ADHD, as you guys know, the strategies that we learn will only last as long as it's new and novel to us. And then it stops working for us. And then we have to go back to the drawing board. Am I still doing acting? Let's see. Well, we just had a strike that just ended. Writer strike and SAG-AFTRA strike that just ended. So I haven't done acting in almost a year, but now that the strike is over, hopefully that will pick up. When COVID started, that shut down production here in Hollywood for well over a year, and then everything ramped back up. And at that time, I'd started training to become an ADHD coach. So my focus has not been on acting as much as it has been learning how to coach ADHD clients, and I'll tell you why. I have worked on some pretty good projects. And I've worked with some very, very prominent, well-known actors. And it wasn't until I started coaching that I realized everything that I had been doing with my life up until learning how to coach other ADHD clients, everything I'd been doing before then was just for me, was to validate me, to build up my self-worth. Oh, if I can just get this job that so-and-so's directing, or that scene I did with Meryl Streep, oh, that validates me so much. Guys, nothing validates me more than helping other people. And I've always known that I feel my best when I'm helping others, when I'm serving others. Not serving in restaurants, by the way, but you gotta grow where you're planted. But it occurred to me that everything that I've been doing pretty much my whole life up until a year and a half ago was just for me. Was me centered. Was like, oh, how successful can I get as a newscaster, or how successful can I get as an entertainer, as a comedian, as an actor? It was just all about me. And when I started coaching, it became, even before coaching, when I started this YouTube channel, ADHD is the New Black, that's when I realized it was bigger than me, that what I have to contribute to the world is not about me. And I don't know if you know this story. I'm going to tell it real quick. I do audience warm-up as well. Audience warm-up, if you're not familiar with it, TV shows, talk shows, late-night talk shows, game shows, anything that has a live audience, they will have a warm-up comic. The warm-up comic is simply the person who kind of acts as the conductor of the audience. Lets you know when to laugh, when to clap, stand, sit, blah, blah, blah. And, there's comedy in it, but it's not like performing at a comedy club. It's just basically, it's a different animal than being a stand-up comedy. It's an audience warm-up comic, okay? My last warm-up job I had before COVID started was on A Little Late with Lily Singh, which used to be on NBC at 1:30 at night. And it was right after I had started taking Adderall. And so I was just making observations that I was working into bits for a set that I was going to be doing in the comedy clubs. But my bits I was working in was just about discovering with ADHD, taking Adderall, and I thought I was just making jokes. To me, I'm making these jokes. It's funny. A lot of things that have happened over my lifetime, because of the ADHD. It's just comical, in the context of being a black woman, long story short, after every taping, pretty much, that I was doing my ADHD bits, a line would form of women who were in the audience who wanted to come over and talk to me. And I'm just thinking they were saying, oh, thank you for being so funny. You really kept us energized. No, these are women who are all coming up to me, every single one of them. And I'm talking like maybe 5, 6, at a time, and then another 5 or 6 at a time. Not the whole audience, but, just pockets of people would come over and they would say, thank you for talking about that. And I'm like, about what? And they were like, about ADHD. They were all like, I thought it was just me. These are professional women, by the way, working in professional spaces where they're struggling and they're masking and they're trying to hide their challenges. And it's like there was a lot of emotion behind what they were saying, and it happened often enough for me to realize there's a need here. These women need to see somebody who looks like them talking about it out loud. And that's why I started this channel. And then I realized that it wasn't just women in these spaces who were struggling. It was, men, younger white guys who had stopped taking their medication because they thought, oh, I should be over this ADHD thing. I don't need it anymore. I'm a grown up. And then they're struggling. And they were coming to me, thanking me for talking about it out loud. It was the thing that nobody talked about out loud. And so that's why I have this channel, and that's why I've been committed to doing what I do, because I'm like, oh, wow, this is more than just about me. So I'm going to leave on that. Everything I've done before was just about me, and everything since starting this channel has been about you. It's been about you. So let me check your comments one more time. All right, guys. Well, it is 10:04 now, and I want to thank each and every one of you for sitting in this live space with me for a couple of hours. It would have been nice to have more people join the party, but hey, you know what? You guys are just cool like that. So keep your eye out, guys, for fresh content. I'm going to be putting out this week some shorts. I call these the oh shit shorts. I'm not joking. The playlist won't be called the oh shit playlist. The playlist will be called the Get Real playlist. And it's called the Get Real playlist. Bye bye, Loki. It's nice having you in here. I'm calling it the Get Real playlist because you know how self-deprecating we can be with ADHD. You know, we'll talk about, being, forgetful or sloppy, messy, whatever, and then we'll kind of laugh it off, with an LOL or a laugh, smiley face, crying icon, and that's great. You know what it says to me? It says to me that, A, there's some element of our ADHD that either we're still embarrassed about, to the point where maybe we might be in a little bit of denial about how serious ADHD can be. And the outside world, outside of the ADHD community, does not take certain aspects of ADHD serious enough. So I'm releasing a playlist starting tomorrow called Get Real about ADHD. Have you guys ever seen the Get Real about diabetes spots with Anthony Anderson? It's modeled on that. And so I'm just going to share with you the script for one of them, because this is all real. This is all based on real research, guys. ADHD is like one of the most heavily researched conditions out there. This has been actively researched since 1907, okay? So we know a lot about ADHD, and there's a lot we don't know about ADHD. But this is what we do know. Did you guys know, this is just one of the scripts that I wrote, that with ADHD, you have a greater risk for gum disease, missing teeth, and poor dental hygiene than people who don't have ADHD. That's because our executive functioning challenges can interfere with making good decisions about our health in general. And the cost of health care for us can be higher than for other people with ADHD. Or how about this one? ADHD, did you know you have at least a 5 to 10 times higher risk for depression, anxiety, and addiction than anybody who does not have ADHD? Or how about this one? How about this one? This one sucks, but it's real. Let's see. Oh, women with ADHD, we have a 3.5 to 5.5 times higher risk of bulimia and anorexia than women who don't have ADHD. We also have a 3.5 times higher risk of having a dog who interrupts our live stream because their owner hasn't fed them yet. Anyway, guys, these are just some of the things that, I'm putting a spotlight on. They won't be warm and fuzzy spots, but they will be shorts. They will be informative, and they're designed to hopefully inspire you or anyone else who does not take their ADHD symptoms seriously. If you're already living with the consequences of unaddressed ADHD, then maybe I don't have to tell you. All right, guys, that's it. I am ending off this live stream now because guess what? My meds are starting to wear off. And I'm actually hitting my prime natural executive functioning period of the morning, but I haven't eaten, so it's kind of canceling it out. Anyway, if you all have any questions, please feel free to put them in the chat here. And again, if you are interested in joining the Kanban course I will be teaching in December, please just leave me your email in this chat, even after it finishes, and I'll contact you. All right? You guys have a lovely morning. And again, please don't forget to go right now to one of my payment methods, PayPal, the Venmo, or Cash App. Donate what you can to support the cause. If you have benefited or enjoyed this live stream for the last 2 hours, please just open your Cash App right now. Donate a little bit. I'd really appreciate it. All right, guys, you all are the bomb. I love you all so much, and I will see you all soon. All right, bye-bye.